Hello, folks. Actually, I couldn't find a better fit for my presentation after what we just saw. I was brainstorming with Claude how to make this presentation. It gave me some recommendations, and then I told it my presentation is just before lunch. And then he said, oh, this is a great pivot. Make it short, and the audience would love you. So I'll try to follow that, I promise. So, I'm not sure this is my presentation. Okay, here we are. I'm going to share with you a true story. We have engineers in the room. I'm sure we have, so you will feel related. It's Friday afternoon. You are working on a fintech assistant, and you have a mandate to push to a production a new release. I know we are breaking the rules. We never push to production on Friday. Okay, it's a mandate, so we need to play with the rules. So you follow your traditional procedures. Everything is green, and you push to production. And you go out to enjoy the weekend. And Monday morning, you have just grabbed your coffee, you go to the office, and everything is a mess. A hidden instruction inside the customer message that was using your Friday release make the agent that you just have deployed to execute an internal tool. And some money was transferred. So what went wrong? On Sunday afternoon, the provider that you're using, the foundation model, for example, they decided to make an update without informing you. You didn't do anything wrong, as the previous presenter said. You did your evals. Everything was okay on Friday afternoon. But all the evals were frozen, were pinned on the very just moment you pushed to production. And one more bug, that you didn't have some proper instructions in place to instruct the model not to execute malicious code, malicious prompts. The model on Friday afternoon, the underlying model, was able to handle the situation. The model that was pushed to production by your vendor on Sunday afternoon was not able to handle this kind of situation. I'm Demetris Gerogiannis, co-founder and co-CEO for Tech and Product in Humanbound, and we have built a platform for continuous monitoring your AI posture. Bias, transparency, reliability. This is the subject of this session. These are not properties. These are states, and states change dynamically. You measure them, and the very next moment, they start decay. So, do we do anything wrong? This is the pre-Gen AI world, the pre-Gen AI era. The processes we are using so far need to update. We do test during the development, but all these tests are frozen the very first moment we push to production, and they only describe the point in time performance of our application. And we have seen with the companies we're working right now that they also try to collaborate and utilize the knowledge out there with bug bounty, so they rely on a community to find vulnerabilities that have already shipped into production. And the situation that I'm pretty much sure nobody wants to deal, a complaint from a customer that something went wrong, and in that case, we have put something to production, and the real customer already got hurt. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the AI SecOps. I'm not saying something new. AI SecOps is a way of continuously attacking your applications, detecting vulnerabilities, and through this continuous process, make your Gen AI deployment safer. If I may say, in the same way that DevOps allows you to continuously integrate new features, in the same way, AI SecOps make your agents continuously safer. So, one discipline. Break first, in the code, in the repository that you are working, your Gen AI applications, your agents, you are the adversary. You are both building your application and also testing your application. And that way, you fix fast. You detect vulnerabilities before you push to the production. And actually, every finding during this continuous phase, during the development phase, becomes a rule. It's the defensive rule that once you push the application to the production, you ship safe. And this is the runtime defense. The journey stops there? No. This is a continuous process. You need to do that again and again and again. Actually, exactly in the way that the previous presenter said, the cadence should be repeated. Why? Because the agent you build at some specific point in time is not the same agent after a week. So what is the challenge here? What we are trying to solve? There are many good tools out there. Pirate, Promptful, Garage, just to name a few. Do you know them? How many of you have used them? I don't see many hands. If you are building Gen AI applications, if you are building agents, these are tools that you should be familiar. And they are pretty much good tools, but the quality of a tool is not the tool itself, it's how you implement it, how you put it into your own pipelines, into the life cycle, the development life cycle of your applications. These are scaffolds. So the value comes from the hardness of these tools, of these models, and not explicitly from the tools themselves. They might be good, but if you don't use them in a proper way, the value is averaged. And how we solve it? Who is vibe coding? Come on, there are two kinds of developers right now. Those that they vibe code and they accept it, and those they vibe code and they don't accept it. So we want to come to your comfort zone, into the IDs that you are using right now. Cloud Code, Cursor, these are the tools, the environments from where you start the journey. So working inside the repository, working inside the directories or the cloud tools that you are using to deploy your agentic applications, this is the very the point where you start the journey of continuous monitoring your AI applications. This is where you start the journey of the AI SecOps. Test-driven deployment, test-driven development is not something new, so we shift this concept in the Gen AI era. You set the rules, the business context of the application, and this is the basis, the foundation basis upon which all the continuous monitoring starts to operate. You push to the production, but this is not the end. You need to constantly monitor your applications. You need to constantly see if something goes wrong. And you need to run tests, not only adversarial tests, deterministic tests, but also tests that have the ability to adapt. Because LLMs, the foundational technology behind LLMs is probabilistic. So something might work well on one moment, and the very next moment, a similar prompt might break anything. So your attacks must also be adaptive. And in the end of this funnel, the production layer, a firewall, you may consider it as a filter that sits between the agents or the humans that are using your application, as a filter that filters, detects if something maliciously is entering your agentic deployment. And this firewall is continuously adapting and delivering knowledge, knowing what is your business context, what is the business language and business risks depending on the domain your application is operating. So, one discipline, 3 surfaces, a continuous process on every edge. We start from the ID, the comfort zone of all the developers with AI test-driven development. We move to the continuous integration, the very first moment you push something to the production, and while you are in production, campaigns, automated campaigns that they attack your application and they try to find vulnerabilities, whether they are regressed or new vulnerabilities that might arise because of a change, an underlying change in the infrastructure, like a model update I described earlier that is not related with your infrastructure. And the end of this journey, a firewall that is fed with knowledge that is harnessed from all the journey at the end of this, at the beginning of this funnel. And all of that through a platform, a collaborative platform. We are in the agentic world. We are in the co-worker era. So all this stuff must feed current systems like CMs for CISOs for continuous monitoring, Jira tickets or any other ticketing system. In other words, a co-worker, a red co-worker that is collaborating with you, is doing the tedious work underground, and you as developers, as engineers, you have the supervision of the whole process. Business experts, they are providing feedback, supervising the whole process to make the underlying models better, to make the underlying tests better. So within this continuous monitoring, the process is evolving again and again based on human knowledge. But agents, of course, they have to be secure, but they also have to be functional. An agentic deployment that is an agent, for example, that is always replying, I cannot assist you, or is blocking external requests from other agents, might be 100% safe, but is 0% functional. So within the same loop that we are also investigating, we are also exploring, testing the security capabilities and boundaries of our application within the same loop, with the same tools, at the same moment, the very same moment that we are running our tests, we need to also explore if our application is also functional. So this is what we call AI assurance, two different channels, security, quality assessment, both fusing into the same route. So to sum up, a few critical takeaways from this presentation. The evals that you are using on the very first moment you are pushing to the production, these are the tools, this is the similar continuous, the similar quarterly pen testing of traditional cybersecurity. And continuously testing is the new cadence for Gen AI era. And the adversary becomes your teammate. By breaking the application, you're making it actually safer and also more functional. So security and QA is two dimensions that they fuse into what we call AI assurance. And this is how we tackle this issue with Humanbound. 3 products that we have put out there. We have opened them as open source, trying to assist the community. Our CLI with a core, open core, for running adversarial tests, adaptive adversarial tests to push your application boundaries with respect to both security and quality assurance. A firewall that is fed with knowledge extracted of all these tests, and a plugin within your comfort zone, the tools that you are using right now, like Cloud Code or Cursor, or you name it, to start the journey into AI SecOps. Thank you, and I would be happy to connect after and discuss how we can make AI applications safer and more functional. Thank you.